Okay, we're recording, right?
Hmm.
All right, so hello, Cinebums, hello, and welcome to the Cinebums with Luke and John.
From
Back
the
in the
car.
Lexus. Yeah, back in the
Yeah.
Lexus. For those who liked it, we brought it back.
People were begging us to not leave the Lexus and stay inside it. So
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
just listening to the fans.
Yeah, John, so there's this clip I wanted to bring up this week that I saw to start us off. It's a clip from The Office, and it killed me at the beginning of this week. It's a clip where uh Michael is dropping off Jim and Pam at the hospital, and for Pam to have a baby, and he's like, Michael, just go pop the car. I mean, go park the car. And Michael's like, okay. He takes a really brief right, pulls into the ambulance section,
Yeah.
gets out the whatever the EMT or whatever the hell it is, goes like, "Sir, you cannot park here," and he just throws his keys
Yeah.
away. And it's just like the levels of the levels of dumb that scene is it's just insane. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a classic one.
It's one of the funniest things. Just him throwing the key. Just how much in that moment he's just fucking himself over, and just like the
Yeah.
complete stupidity
He just really
of
is like the main character in his world that he just
but also relating to not like having any patience a little bit whatsoever, where like you're in an emergency like situation and you think like, God, the fact that we have so many steps to like do things, like say for something like a hospital, our world has so many steps to doing things, but yet, and so you don't have the patience for it, so you're rebelling against it, but he's rebelling at like he's throwing his own keys away
yeah.
as a way of like giving the middle finger to the hospital guy. And his car is gonna get towed, and his car is definitely gonna get towed. It's
He's
just
just shooting
insane.
himself in the foot. Yeah. Do they acknowledge what happens to his car after that, or they just not even?
No, I didn't watch like the full episode. It was just like an Instagram clip
Oh.
I had where I just like I can't believe it. It's one of those where like I think it's funny as a kid when the episode came out, but it rings a lot more true now how ridiculous it is.
Yeah, when you like analyze Michael now as an adult, uh,
Yeah.
his actions are like uh, both hilarious and sad in a different way when you're an adult. Um,
Well, yeah, just like the layers of dumb. I just love when the like your favorite TV shows, they write the characters with the layers of dumb that they are.
mhm.
Like Homer Simpson is like that a little bit, where there's like a clip that popped on my feed once where it's a classic Simpsons episode where he goes to like Krusty's clown college, like he's headed to work, and he's like, "Oh my God, it's billboard day!" And every single one he stops traffic for every single
Mm.
billboard and had to look and analyze what the billboard means. He's like, maple syrup. Ooh. And then the third billboard is the clown college. He's like, clown college, you can't eat that, or something like that. I'm not doing this exactly right. But then, like, because he's Homer, like, the ad stays in his head the rest of the day.
Mhm.
And, and like, for no reason, rational reason whatsoever. And he's like, what am I going to do after work? Definitely not think about that clown college. And then he's at dinner with his family, and like his family's just surrounding him, and they all have like clown faces on. He just can't stop.
Yeah.
And they're like, and then at the end of the dinner, he's just like, he just stands up. He's like, that's it. I'm you people are not going to say anything to change my mind. I'm going to clown college. And he's just been in his head the whole time.
But yeah, that's another one too, is like watching The Simpsons now as an adult and catching like the little tiny character traits about like Homer. Um, like I didn't notice growing up how much Homer would just like spew like Fox News propaganda
Oh,
out
yeah,
of his
yeah.
mouth. I just think like, oh, Homer, he's like dumb. He's just like this dumb moron dad.
Right.
But then when you get older, you like see like, oh, they have a full backstory of Homer is that he's like brainwashed by Fox News and Republican propaganda and all. Like he'll just occasionally
Right.
like throw out a comment that is like something they pulled from Fox News totally. That as a kid I never would have noticed, but now it's yeah, it's just funny picturing Homer as this like
Right.
um yeah, as that type of
But
character.
you like don't hate on it. You like even the show, though the show is probably written by many left wing,
Oh,
people like
yeah.
Harvard Lampoon and like stuff like that. Like they're definitely there is no like they're not attack. What I like is they're not attacking um the city of Springfield for being like a right wing. There's like love for them, you know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
which is
Yeah.
kind of refreshing for now, but like you love how conservative all these like say like the mayor is or how conservative Mo is. Like when they say they're like very conservative things. Um,
It's yeah, it's like endearing because it's like their character, but yeah, I don't know. You love how like stupid and
yeah, you're just love
ignorant
like
the
you
whole town
you
is.
love how ignorant they are, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was watching because I was a little under the weather last week, so I put on season three. And what's great about the early seasons is like I think like the absurdity and the joke writing builds as like the show goes, but the early seasons are very grounded of like we're gonna have like funny things in it, but like we're gonna tell a very wholesome, like complete story every single
Yeah.
episode, which is also it's like very sweet. Like seasons two and three and some of four are very sweet in that they're trying to there's a complete arc and very inspired off of I think movies and older television of like um the story has a legit end, like beginning, middle, and end,
Yeah.
like an arc and a lot of like really actually wholesome things about like I don't know family or being like a selfish person, just all these things, yeah. And so it's really nice, it's really nice to watch. Yeah, I remember
Um
when I first saw like Bart, the episode Bart gets an F when I was a kid.
mm,
It blew my mind because I just like was never good at school. Like I never was that good at it. Like and because of that, I don't want to say I was like bad in school. I wasn't really bad. I was just like mediocre, like I'd get B's and C's. You know what I mean? And
same.
like
Yeah.
I get B's and C's. So I wasn't necessarily bad. But like nevertheless, I always felt like, school was like a battle of some a place where grades were not my thing and I didn't really fit as like a person with like grades. And so when I watched Bart gets an F, I remembered like the stress. There's a real like I don't know, connection I felt. So like there's like this the stress that Bart feels because he actually in that episode begins to care about doing well. I forget what the reasoning is. It's something about like repeating the grade. I think it's like
Oh
he had
yeah.
just the fear he
That sounds
has of
right.
repeating the grade and the embarrassment and like how he like in that episode actually locks in and study and tries to study and like just the stress he feels like is so relatable as a kid because that is like the only thing really to stress about as a kid, is school and like how that can make you just feel so bad about yourself or or whatever, or make you feel kind of like worthless because you're not doing well at all this stupid stuff that's being assigned to you by this place that you're required to go. That episode, like, yeah, as a kid was a big deal for me, and like, is really wholesome on rewatch. Yeah, and then there's like another to go on just to go off this. There's like another episode I watched where it's like this one where Flanders starts the left-handed store,
Yeah.
and he did like Homer just is rooting for his failure like
Hmm.
the whole episode, like you know, and and eventually at the end, like it shows like he's about to like leave his Flanders is about to move his family to an apartment because it's just ruined him so much. And Homer's watching it happen, and it finally snaps him into like, hey, maybe I should care and help this guy and stuff like that. And then it's this very nice moment at the end, kind of very reminiscent of like It's a Wonderful Life or something like that, where everyone kind of enters, like he tells everyone in the town, somehow everyone in the town has a left-handed thing where like there's like a running joke throughout where like like Mr. Burns is trying to use a can opener, and he's like, ugh, ugh, god damn it, right-handed can opener or something like that, and Homer's like thinking about telling him about the store, and Flanders comes in a bubble, and he's like, "Tell him about the store, Homer. Come on!" And and then Homer just chooses not to. And at the end, he tells everyone about the left-handed store and saves the business, and it's really sweet. So like, The Simpsons does a great job of that early on, of just like telling, like, I don't know, it's like a classical American story. Yeah, like I don't know how much it probably gets credit for it, but what I'm here to say here at least, it doesn't get enough credit for it.
Yeah, it does. I mean, there is always a lot of heart to The Simpsons. It's not like super nihilistic. Like I
There's a lot of
love.
like nihilism in the humor, and like where the world view is that like everyone is like greedy and shitty, and everyone in America is like behind on their bills, and that like politicians are corrupt, and men, like the only one who's gonna be like most men are terrible and stuff,
Mhm.
and like everyone's like addicted to food and alcohol and like cigarettes and shit, and there's a capitalist pig who's controlling the town. It's very like cynical in that way, but I also like, to me that's always like, oh, that's like real. And then within it there's these human stories that kind of, make it not so bleak. But I remember when I was like in my when 20s, in my like very I was having some very depressed days, I would lean on those cynical things that like you're that we're talking about on The Simpsons, of like, yeah, The Simpsons is smart because it knows the world is fucked, you know?
Yeah, that's how it's like redeemable, or for as like stupid as like the people in the town are. It's like they're being taken advantage of left and right by Mr. Burns, or
Yeah.
um the monorail, just
He's
like
like,
anyone.
Smithers, I've always despised the laziness of the common worker. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just so funny. Like the whole town is just like they're all just these sad people that are just being taken advantage of left and right, but it kind of like represents all of us,
Yeah.
who are like that's kind of how we are, compared to the elites, and how they control us with advertising and their capitalist system. But
Right.
at the end of the day, we're just like the people of Springfield. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that there is like there's a heart to The Simpsons. That's really nice. As
Yeah.
much as I love South Park, most of the time it's just everyone is just really shitty. Um,
South Park had moments, I think, where I would be binging it, and I really liked it, especially in my early 20s when I was getting high all the time and watching. All I wanted to do was watch South Park because I thought it was the funnest thing ever, and I thought South Park was so genius. And it is. It's so genius. It's
yeah,
so genius. But there were moments where I'm binging it and I'm like, man, this shit is just fucked up what they're doing right now. Like I cannot like there's too much,
Yeah.
but like I don't know, there will be clips that will pop on my feed sometimes from South Park and I'm like, yeah, South Park is like the fun was the funniest the funniest shit ever. Yeah.
I'd seen this before, but it just popped up on my feed recently is when Trey and Bill Hader are recording. They're like Southern redneck guys, and they're in um, the booth together
Yes, yeah,
recording
I've
these
seen that a bunch
lines,
of times.
and they're
Yeah.
just cracking up, and it's so funny.
Yeah,
Some reason
yeah.
it's like funnier watching them do it. Funnier watching them like record it together than it is like actually on the show. But
Sure, yeah, 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 yeah.
Bill Hader is just like at one point he just
Losing it.
goes, "What fur?" And then they both just like lose their minds right after just like
Yeah, yeah.
one little line.
They're having such a ball.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you watch the doc ever? The full doc?
The 6 days
Huh.
to air,
Hmm.
whatever. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very formative doc for me when I was just a young dude trying to go to screenwriting school. I was like, wow, this is a writer's room. Yeah. Those
Um,
that one and the SNL one kind of a line of like
mm,
you're trying to watch these people like churn something out on a deadline and like the pressure but also like the I don't know, them watching them eventually get into a flow state of coming up with the ideas for the show is just it's so awesome. Yeah.
yeah, it's there's something like intoxicating about it because it seems everyone is just like stressed out, but in the beginning when they're sort of lost, but you also want to like be a part of that. Um,
Yeah, no, yeah, me, yeah, that's what how I was. Like, I remember I was young and I was like, man, one day I'm gonna like break into a writer's room, like a comedy writer's room or some shit, just like this. And it shows like Trey Parker at one point, like he's doing touch-ups on the script, and uh, he get his assistant or whatever brings him like a Big Mac or some shit, just to like
yeah.
get him like to give him comfort while writing. And I remember like all I really wanted to do in my life at the time was like, think about like writing and watch stuff and eat junk food. And I saw that and I was like, wow, this guy's my hero.
Yeah. This is the height of luxury. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I like nowadays that I'm in my old age, I will try to like do like creative things like at night because that's how I like procrastinated in college. I would always get stuff done like that. Like if I had a deadline
right.
and I just put something off. And I have like memories of being in an editing bay with my friend Michael, who you met um in
Yeah.
LA. Like we would both have like separate projects to work on that was like due the next morning, and we'd be in the editing bay until like 2 or 3 a.m. finishing this stuff up. And like at the time, I just remember being so like stressed out. But then now I'm like looking back on that, I'm like, oh man, I wish I had that like that drive to
Hmm.
like I don't know to like I don't feel that same like stress in my job now where I need to like stay up late to finish this to get it out and
It's too
uh
laid back.
yeah, there's almost like a like do I want to do that? Not really, but there's also like I have like a romantic vision of that too of like having to like lock into an editing room and just you know knock something out before a deadline. It's
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. Yeah, there's something like just exciting about it. Like you're
yeah.
um yeah, you're working through something and there's like a clear like finish line that you can see. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I've always thought personally that like, oh man, one day I'll be like my energy and ambition will transition very well to a show. Like considering like I mean like, like this now for instance, you know what I mean? But like, also like a TV show or something where it's like consistent, and like there's like an external like you got to do it every day and there's an external like pressure and it's just like all right, I feel like my creativity would be very used well there. Um, but right for now, we're I'm powerhousing this show.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe we need more higher stakes for our show here to really get the best out of us.
Sure. Well, that's why, yeah, like an episode a day.
Yeah. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's what we've been missing is yeah, deadline like an episode a day. Let us know in the comments if we should do that, if we should start doing daily episodes
Or
to
like a challenge, like not even like really a challenge, like do it as like a challenge, as in like you're stimulating like a television season, like
mm,
that, like you have to put out an episode a week for like 2 months or
yeah,
something. Yeah.
yeah,
But that doesn't even really equal the same stakes, because like we could probably do that easily if we just, you know, it's not that much of a challenge. Would be a real challenge would be like if it was like, say, um something like along the lines of K-Bum, that we have to do like a K-Bum radio broadcast every week. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
Some that's like more like not so loose, something that's more structured and fictional, and where there's ideas that you actually have to come up with for it, because
yeah.
if like yeah, yeah,
It's not just like talking about this movie or whatever this show that came out.
right,
Like
no,
actually,
because
yeah, just coming up with something.
yeah,
Um, yeah, that's what I like working from home. Every now and then I listen to like I listen to like Chicago sports radio. Like it's kind of like a comfort thing, I guess. Because I like would listen to this stuff when I was like a kid. And it's funny now that like listening to them every day, they're like trying to find content in any way they can. Like they have to fill, like
sure,
it seems
yeah, yeah,
like they get like really amped up about like all these Chicago sports stories or other sports stories going on. But it's like clearly now I can tell that they're like, we have to like milk this because we need to fill. We've got like 4 hours to fill. So
yeah, yeah,
we gotta have callers bring in topics. We gotta come up with topics on the fly. Like I now I can see it kind of as like maybe like from a producer's standpoint where they have to yeah, like have segments and things to fill the time with.
right, like a team of people, yeah,
Yeah, so there's like a yeah, it's like same thing with yeah, like South Park, like, okay, we need to get a story going, but then we also need
yeah.
to, once we get that story, we got to get into the animators. And yeah, it's just like a whole team of
Or
people.
like something like late night, um
Yeah.
where like late night you're forced to, like, you do what you can during the day, and then you at night, that's the best you got for
Yeah.
the show. It's like every day, because you have to do it every single day,
Yeah.
which which is its own kind of insanity. But like you have to, like, whatever the monologue is, or the panel questions, or the skits, or whatever it is, like there's a reason why those are of a specific quality, because like a certain level, because just they're doing it every single day, you know.
Yeah. That's what's crazy to me, those shows, like, uh, and even SNL too, like, but I guess specifically like the late night shows is that they
Yeah, like
film
SNL at least
them.
has like all week to,
Yeah.
and then they have their process of like, we're going to compile as many sketch ideas, and then we're going to like, so many are going to be cut at the end of the day, and we're going to like test them and rehearse them, and they're going to be even cut all the way to the end, because they have time to analyze it and maybe even overthink it, the whole week,
Yeah.
and kill themselves the whole week until it's done, when late night is just, you know like, there's no room for like overthinking, probably, like you're just gonna do what you can do. And
And they film those in like the afternoon, like 4. or
Yeah.
5 p.m. So it's
Yeah.
like they really only have up until then.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have, things set in place ahead of time for, plenty of shows, but like monologue stuff they probably coming up with that day. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think John like say like that thing about me like job hopping to the restaurants and like complaining like that'd be like a good panel thing like say on like a late night show like yeah, I used to work and you used to work in restaurants. Yeah, I used to work in restaurants. Yeah. I would go I would go around from restaurant to restaurant and there'd be a bunch of people who've been working there for years and I'd come in and within weeks I'd be complaining more than any of them or whatever. I don't know what the whatever the wording is. Something like that.
yeah, I feel like you're onto something. Yeah. It's like the beginnings of a anecdote for late night.
It's just
Yeah.
something like where yeah, like yeah, and I would complain. I realized that every restaurant I was complaining more than anyone else there or something. I don't know.
You know that show Comics Unleashed?
No.
Oh, it's been on for like forever. It's like one of those shows that's on at like midnight on in Chicago. It's probably like WCIU, the
Mm.
U or whatever. But it's just this guy, Byron Allen, and he sits on a chair and like he's surrounded by a few comedians on a couch. And it's just like a late night show, but it's just like these comedians talking and hanging out, but it's so like it's so like formulaic and everything's like a pre-interview. So the host would be like,
Mm.
"So Luke, it sounds like you've been hopping around to different jobs lately." And then you'd be like, "Yeah," and then you'd get into your like story about it. Like that's how it all is. It's like clearly he's like setting them up for a story that they talked about before
Yeah,
the
because it's a
show.
funny thing. Because like it reminds me of like say like I don't know like Larry David has his routine of being like, yeah, I worked on Saturday Night like the stories like I worked on Saturday Night Live, and then I I I quit
Quit
like
and
right before air. Like it's kind of like that a little bit. Like
yeah,
but like it's just about having the way you're wording it down that is the funny thing.
yeah,
The timing of it down, but then you can say it the same way every single time. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You got to get like the um I don't know however you can best tell it in like a story. Um, it's funny. There's a Nathan for You episode where he have you seen that one where he like concocts the perfect anecdote for his appearance
Yeah,
on
yeah,
Jimmy
for late
Kimmel?
for
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
that's a funny
That one's
dissection
hilarious. Yeah.
of like the late night where it's like he was studying them and so many of them had a story about being pulled over by the cops
Right, right.
or some mishap at the airport or
It's like,
something.
is this weed or something like that? Isn't that what happens in that?
Yeah, it's like a little baggie of like white powder, and he's
Right,
like,
yeah,
but
yeah.
he found it in the suit that he borrowed or he got his suitcase got mixed in with someone else's, so he had to wear this guy's suit. And the cop's like, "What's in the baggie?" And then the real guy on the phone says it's his mother's ashes. And then Nathan on the show is like,
I love
yeah,
that episode. It's genius.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's good breakdown of like the panel anecdote thing
So this is the
on late
spawn of
night.
the idea. Maybe in 5 years, John, you'll see me on like 3 to 4 years, you'll see me on Kimmel, and I'm like, yeah, I used to job hop in the valley, in every place. You're just waiting for
Yeah.
it.
And then Kimmel always does his same laugh. He's like, at least with Kimmel, I do feel like his laugh is genuine. Where Jimmy
It's
Fallon
not as like
would be
up.
like,
It's not as like up like it's like Jimmy Fallon's is so like much,
"You're the
you know.
greatest. It's the greatest, man.
You're the greatest,
It's the,
buddy.
it's the
So like
greatest." Oh, yeah. Ugh. I we could talk about Project Hail Mary. Did you see that?
yes, yes, I saw that. Yeah, Project Hail Mary.
I feel like
Uh
that's the talk of the town currently at
Yeah,
least.
that was good. Um, saw that in a big theater, and overall, I'd say I'm not for like maybe at the time wasn't the most in the mood for a space movie, and I think a lot of the times I'm not in the mood for a space movie, to be honest. And like I don't want to say I'm anti the space movie at all. Like I'm not anti the space movie because I like Interstellar and shit, and I think like certain space movies are life changing, like Interstellar, 2001, and Star Wars. Star Wars is a space movie.
Forget about
Forget
it.
about
Yeah.
that. Um, but like I don't know, Project Hail Mary, um, like was one that I saw out of like obligation, I felt. Um, but it kind of won me over for sure as the
Hmm.
movie went on, and I thought it was very clever in just very clever and like funny, and Ryan Gosling's so charming throughout, and at the end like is very has a very feel good ending, and I'd say overall at the end I was like, this is kind of a triumph, this film, like I thought it was really good.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I liked it. I think I was like starting to get interested in all the Artemis stuff, like
Mm,
the flight around the moon they just did and watching interviews with that. And I thought that was super interesting. But then I think going into like a more fictionalized version of it, I was like less so interested in it.
I see.
Um but I'm also I don't know, kind of like you were saying, I'm not necessarily I'm definitely not anti like sci-fi or anything, but I don't typically get into like the more sciencey um uh space movies like The Martian or Interstellar. I like uh I don't dislike Interstellar, but it's not one I'm like it didn't connect with me like it did a lot of people. And I feel like the same with Project Hail Mary. It didn't like resonate with me as much as I thought it would, but I still like thought it was an entertaining enough movie. And Gosling, I mean, he's one of few people I think who could like pull off this type of movie too, where it's
Yeah.
mostly just him and he's interacting with a, you know, almost voiceless creature. Um, but I think something that bothered me about it was Rocky. Uh, in general,
Mm,
I just never fully got into like the character of Rocky, and I think that is what like made me like it, but not really love it. And I just the things are like kind of nitpicky, just like the sense of humor that this space alien has. That it's like it sounds like he's a redditor or something from
oh yeah, yeah.
like Earth, but he's like this creature from another completely other planet, completely devoid of any uh human references, let alone like North American um like sense of humor. And I just yeah, for some reason that just took me out of it, that it's like a creature from outer, and I know I feel like it was more of a popcorn movie than I maybe thought it was, but yeah, just
I
something
felt
about
like
like
that part of it for me was like this is like a popcorn version of like the movie Arrival, almost. Like that's kind
yeah,
of what it reminded me of, because just
true, yeah.
like the except there's like in this it's like there's the desperation for him to find for interaction in any way. I think when like
Yeah.
Arrival's more like, I don't know, like this is more wholesome, when Arrival's very like epic of like, what are
Yeah,
they?
yeah.
Arrival's really good. I would rewatch it for sure. I've been putting off rewatching it for years, but I thought Project Hail Mary was like sort of Arrival in like Arrival and Interstellar, a little in a Guardians of the Galaxy sort of more tone. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think.
Yeah. I think I guess what bothered me about it is that it seemed like overly cutesy about, but it was also supposed to be like a very serious
Yeah.
thing that he's doing. Like, but yeah, I don't know. That just kind of took me out of it, I guess. So, but I mean, I've seen plenty of people talk about how much they love Rocky and everything. So, um, yeah, maybe I'm just a negative Nancy here, but yeah, I
Yeah,
think that's what took me
yeah,
out
I'm
of
not
it.
really
But
like, oh, I wouldn't say John that I'm like, oh man, John didn't like Rocky.
don't, dude, you
Like,
love Rocky,
I don't
man.
have that.
You
I don't have come on, man. I don't, yeah, like I had to remember who Rocky was first, so
Yeah, I don't. I think it just didn't connect with me as much.
yeah, I
Um,
always like Ryan Gosling's really like one of my favorite movie stars in
yeah,
like the past decade. Because like if you look, say like we'll go down the list. Say so we got Project Hail Mary, The Fall Guy. I saw, which
never saw that.
I think Project Hail Mary is definitely better than The Fall Guy. Um, Um, but Fall Guy, Ryan Gosling's like very charming, like in Project Hail Mary. Just like you can feel like the theater is just so being charmed by him, also supportive of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That like you can feel everyone's like on his side in there. You know what I mean?
going along with
What
that too. There, I don't know how your theater was, but and I've had this problem at the same theater before, but there was like people a little bit too giggly about everything. Like thinking
Sure,
that every
sure.
single beat is like a joke.
Yeah,
Where
I'd
Gosling would
agree.
just be like,
This was
he
one.
just like make a face, and then people are
Yeah,
like,
this was one of those. I definitely
yeah,
like there were a couple times I laughed out loud, but I would say for like a majority of it, I was not like laughing the whole time,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
When like that's kind of actually what I meant to say is Project Hail Mary is The Martian meets Arrival, not in Interstellar. I meant to say The Martian meets Arrival because I feel like
yeah,
tonally, and like the fact that it's like this charming movie star who kind of has to use his um, charisma to carry you through this lonely space journey with a lot of scientific jargon. It's kind of similar to that. And I remember The Martian having very consistent laughter throughout, but it was kind of like maybe similar to why you like with this where it's easy sort of easy laughter to kind of just like I don't know which kind of people are more open to it I think because they're like oh we're seeing like a big space sci-fi movie so when there's humor there like it's just welcomed maybe too warmly I
yeah.
guess um yeah
I feel like Phil Lord and Chris Miller like have kind of tapped into that like mainstream uh I don't know comedic voice that I just feel like has like a
you
wide
mean
ranging.
like they specialize in
Not I
lowbrow
would
humor.
say I wouldn't say
No, not as
lowbrow, but I think like a like they
very
can appeal to a wide
accessible.
range, accessible. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like I like a lot of stuff they've done. Um and I yeah, I did think stuff was funny here too, but um yeah, but also that's part of the reason why I wasn't like always super into it was because of the humor at times was
I never
a
thought
little
that the
too.
script was like I mean the script had some funny things, but I more so like I think Ryan Gosling is just a funny actor
Yes.
every time he's in a movie. I just think he's a very funny actor. Uh
He has good
yeah.
comedic sensibilities. Yeah.
Yeah, he just really gets me. He's just
'Cause he can both be like a hunky guy, but also like be the butt of the joke at the same time too.
right.
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Like the nice guys, I think is one of his
Hmm.
best performances.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Because I was just going back and looking at his like list. I mean, we Barbie, but I didn't see The Gray Man, which was like a Netflix film that he did,
yeah,
like
me
an
neither.
action movie he did with the Russo brothers and Ana de Armas. I never saw that. Actually, maybe I did, and I just don't remember it. Um,
I don't think
kind
I
of want
saw that
to
one.
kind of want to see it now. Um, First Man, I didn't see. I'll just like
Oh,
go
that's
down like
a
I haven't seen any of his movies. That's Damien Chazelle making a
wow.
space film.
I forgot all about that movie. Yeah. I
Well,
never saw
it's
that
got
either.
Jason Clarke, Kyle Chandler, and it's got Christopher Abbott in it. I mean Damien Chazelle is a really talented filmmaker, so I mean I would definitely be interested in seeing
Yeah.
that movie that came out almost 10 years ago. Um, he did Song to Song, which is a crazy Terrence Malick movie that I actually watched this year. He's not
Haven't
very
seen that.
funny. Nobody's funny in that.
I thought Terrence
Before,
Malick was like one of our one of the
right,
greatest comedic directors of our time. Yeah.
right. Before that is La La Land, which I think he's very funny in because he does the bit where he honks the car way too long. That's very good. That's the main thing. The Nice Guys, obviously we talked about that. The Big Short, he's good in even like
Oh,
everyone's good in The Big Short, despite the fact that I don't think I overall like The Big Short, but I like all the performances in it. As individual performances, I don't know if I would have to revisit The Big Short to see if I really like it. Um,
I do like The Big Short, but I think that style can get grating, and like that Adam McKay. Um, I think that's kind of how where he's gotten with his movies, where it gets a little bit grating now. But I think um, that movie on its own, I do really enjoy.
okay,
Yeah,
nice.
I think
I'll have to
it's a good
rewatch it.
collection of performances. I think that
Did you ever watch the is it like the Dick Cheney, Adam McKay
yeah. See,
movie? Did you ever watch that? Vice? I never watched
that
that.
that one was not so good.
Hmm.
And I remember seeing the trailer for that and really being interested in it, but yeah, that's where I think Adam McKay is with like Don't Look Up is maybe getting a little too preachy, pseudo intellectual. Um, but I think that's where like The Big Short I really liked, and then I think everything after that he maybe like indulged himself too much into that sort of um that type of movie. But yeah,
Right. All right. I mean, that's probably all I have to say about Project Hail Mary. I'm behind on
yeah,
films. I want to go see the drama because the
s-
drama was
same, yeah.
supposed to be good, but I'm going to talk about a film that I watched back in January called it's called Shithouse, John. It's called Shithouse.
All right.
And it's written, directed by Cooper Rife, who made that film Cha Cha Real Smooth, which is kind of that Jewish movie where the guy starts dating Dakota Johnson and talking about his kid. I think we talked about it years ago, and I remember really loving Cha Cha Real Smooth and found the writing and the performances to feel like very just authentic and real and unique and also humorous. And so I wanted to see this guy's first film. I think it's his one of his first films. Yeah, I think it's his first film, and it's Shithouse, which I think this dude Cooper Rife made when he was like following his college years, and it's talking about like a kind of weird college fling he had. And the movie is very plotless, very conversational, and just shows these kind of kids finding themselves partying in college, finding themselves. It also the main Cooper Rife plays the main character named Alex, and like it kind of shows how he's like he's calling his mom and sister all the time and like while he's there for his freshman year and and there's a certain point in the movie where he's like spoilers a little but where he's like telling them I can't keep calling you guys. I gotta like start living my own life out here at the school I went to, and stuff like that. And he's like struggling with not having friends in college which I remember like when I went away to college was a bit of a fear. And a lot, I think a lot of people, like if you didn't go to a giant university or something like that, had like an experience of like this like maybe a daunting first adult experience where you're on your own and you what you like life is what you make it,
Yeah.
and you have certain expectations about, you know, having fun, or that you're supposed to be having fun, you're supposed to be, I don't know, getting laid or whatever it is, and then like nothing, you're just spending all your time, you're spending too much time alone in your dorm, and like where's my, you know, like man, why is this not what I expected? And that's a lot of, to me, what the movie is about. And there's just something about Cooper Rife, man, as an actor who's just, I think you'd really like him, like it, John. And he's just kind of a very unique voice in the film world nowadays. And you could tell he's very much depicting his own experiences, and he gets very intense. Like while he's probably playing himself to a lot of degrees,
Hmm.
he's getting very intense with these performances and gets very vulnerable. And and he's very relatable because he's like born in 1997, and yeah, and I really like it. You know, they're always a breath of fresh air to watch.
I feel like I
So
remember you and Jake talking about this guy's movies
Cha
whenever.
Cha real smooth, yeah.
Yeah,
He had
yeah.
one come out in 2025 that I haven't seen called Hal and Harper. It happens to have Mark Ruffalo in it, and
Oh,
Lily Reinhardt. So I kind of want to see that now. And of course it's also starring Cooper
uh-huh.
Rife. Yeah.
So I know of him too because one of the comics from our club who started with us, he still lives in Denver, but he wrote like a memoir a few years ago and then wrote the screenplay for it. And the Duplass brothers, I think they directed it. They like premiered at Sundance this year. But Cooper Rafe is playing Adam, who's the comic from our club. He's playing him in the movie, like about his life. That's
Oh,
coming out this
really?
year too. Yeah.
Very cool.
So I
Nice.
think I remember like reading like the story about that and then looking into that guy. And then I thought that this was someone who like you or Jake had maybe talked about on the podcast before. But yeah, I forget what the movie's called, but yeah, I want to say J. Duplass directed it and then Adam Caton Holland
Sweet,
wrote
man.
it.
Yeah.
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 And it was produced by like Kumail Nanjiani and his wife too. So it's like um yeah,
Got a lot of
I
indie darlings around it, and
yeah, like these
nice.
indie comedy movie
Yeah.
people. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
But yeah, yeah, would highly
Nice.
recommend Shithouse and Cha Cha Real Smooth, and anything by this dude. They always kind of like really. I always get very into it, and
Uh-huh.
they always feel very therapeutic for me by the end of it. Just yeah.
Nice. Um, did you see I can't believe we haven't talked about this, and maybe we have, but the Paul McCartney documentary,
Yeah, Man
Man on
on
the
the
Run?
Run. Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked Man on the Run. I wasn't like I wasn't like glued to it in the way that I am some other Beatles content. It
Hmm.
was more of a like this, I could keep this thing on while I'm like maybe kind of like more of a like a laid back watch. Not that I wasn't interested in it, and and stuff, and like I don't know a ton about the Wings era and stuff, and like, you know, I liked it. I thought it was cool. Yeah, like yeah, I wasn't like, I don't know. It
It
wasn't like
wasn't life-changing like
maybe
the
my bar for
Get
Beatles things
Back.
sometimes is like this is
Yeah.
gonna change my life.
Yeah.
And since it didn't, like
I know. I still think like Get Back was like the greatest thing ever. like
Right.
when I
Well, and
was
I
watching
think
it.
George Harrison living in the material world is kind of life-changing too.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Um,
I think this guy, Morgan Neville, does like he does a good job of putting together like a kind of concise story of a person from like a certain era, like the Anthony Bourdain one, and now he's done like the Lorne Michaels one that's
right.
coming out
That one I think
too.
is
So
about to come out. Yeah.
yeah, I feel like he does a good job of like doing a sort of concise story on a certain point in time of someone's life. But they're not like
I mean, I felt
incredibly
The
like
Bourdain one was for me like a huge deal. I just like I think this is very specific of like McCartney during this era, like during like it's a very
it's
specific
all wings. Yeah.
beginning end cap of like what he was maybe searching, how he was searching for something in that post Beatles like run, which
Hmm.
it is necessary, you know. I found that one part the most I maybe the most interesting part for me is when like it's like interviewing the members of Wings and they're talking about how I don't know how he's like I don't know how they feel weird being part of his band and when it's like
Yeah.
when they're saying things like this guy could play he can play every instrument. This guy's way better than all of us and how he's trying to almost make it like I don't know, overly like collaborative when at the end of the day, like he is kind of pulling. I think that's what it was. Like at the end of the day, he's kind of pulling the whole group, ahead when so they I don't know, just their viewpoint of it, I found very interesting. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting to see like the dynamic from, where he's like always just been in the Beatles and then he becomes like the villain of the Beatles and creates a new band, but like navigating that like relationship with people who you didn't like grow up with in Liverpool. Yeah. I think it was interesting just seeing um sort of what his career and like public image was post Beatles. Um,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Um,
and I like that image of him just going on to like I mean I'm into all of it. I'm like so
yeah.
I'm also downplaying it a lot, but like I'm into all of it. Like I like how he's like going on to a farm, like he's on in a farm wherever that is, like after it to get away, and he's like says that like, for 2 months he's drinking every single day, and like because of the post Beatles depression, and said I gotta do something about this, and then
Yeah.
he like pulls himself out of that, and it's cool. Yeah.
And going to like Nigeria to record that album just sort of on a whim.
Right,
Uh,
right.
yeah. Yeah, some cool stories in there. But yeah, it's nothing like immersive and life-changing like Get Back, but I'm definitely just a sucker for any type of like well-made Beatles content.
Yeah.
Uh,
I actually to go off this topic, I just watched that HBO one-to-one John and Yoko doc,
oh, nice. I
and
haven't seen that.
that was very, I mean, just because this was more like I don't know, maybe I was a little more interested in it because I don't know that much about what their life was like in it's basically their life in like New York and in Greenwich Village and how they were very like big activists and stuff and how they started doing shows and it shows like Nixon doing all these things that are kind of, inhumane, maybe kind of similar to like what's going on now, how our president's doing inhumane and how like it shows how John and Yoko basically like sat in front of a they were always watching TV. Like they're just like soaking up TV all day, and that influenced how they essentially lived and how they ended up being very aware about what's going on in the world, and then like perform shows about like like stop the war. Like he's doing like for doing that. Like I thought it was interesting.
Nice. Yeah, I'll have to check
Yeah.
that out. Every now and then I'll just go back and watch the Dick Cavett interviews with like John and George. Have you ever seen
Right, right.
those?
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah.
when you're taking the LSD, it's not as
I know there's one where I think he's talking to George, and George is
Ju-
like, "Yes, I took the LSD the one time, and then it completely changed me, or whatever." And he's like, "Oh, so you only did LSD the one time?" And he's like, "No, I did it lots of times. I only needed it the once, though." And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's just so funny. Like that's like such a big talking point with them, and those interviews is just like, "What's it like on LSD? Or what was your experience like on LSD?"
Yeah. I think those are the only two Beatles docs I've watched in 2025, 2026. We're just gonna, but here, if we're gonna tell, all right. So, at the beginning of the year, I rewatched The Last Waltz at the beginning of the year, and
Mm,
now I'm like very obsessed with that. As in, I listen to the soundtrack all the time on the concert all the time on while I'm driving around. There's just
nice,
so many good.
nice.
Oh, it's so good, man.
Yeah. That I wasn't even super familiar with the band before then, and then that got me into them because a lot of the songs from that too I heard for the first time, like
No, same. Yeah.
in that documentary, and
Yeah.
it sounds so good.
There's like
Everyone
this
looks great.
I know like one song. I knew one song from it before I ever saw that for the first time. The um
The
we
weight,
go down to Canada,
yeah, the
take a road off and like that's the only song I
yeah,
knew. And also of course like the Muddy Waters song, of course.
in that.
Manish Boy.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think I love that moment. I think it is they're playing the weight, and like the camera just pans over, and it's like Mavis Staples and the
Mm,
Staples singers like joining in the song, but you like
okay.
previously didn't know that they were there. I think that's a really cool moment.
I'll probably rewatch it again soon, so I'll see if I catch that.
Yeah.
Um, oh yeah, and then I think like one of the peaks of it is like I, I didn't know this song until I first saw it, but the night they drove Old Dixie down was just like is insane.
Yeah.
Um, and it really builds to those moments where Dylan's up there and he's singing forever young and he's like forever young and then it ends with I shall be released.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's just so man, yeah, this thing it's just I'm like religious about it the way like something like Get Back. See, if we're gonna like I'm like playing some of it now, but like if we're gonna like see now the fire's lit, John, because the
Yeah.
man on the run, it was like he's like it's easy, it's okay, but now like this thing, man, oh, gotta
Just
come on.
the people that like when they're doing I Shall Be Released and all the people up on stage, it's just like crazy all like the iconic like legends
Oh yeah, yeah,
that all
yeah.
got together for
Like
this
Joni
one
Mitchell
show.
pops on and
Yeah.
like and yeah, like Neil Young singing
Van
Helpless and
Morrison.
yeah,
Yeah.
Van Morris, there's this song where like the horns will come in during the Van Morris song. It's like dun 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 dun. He's like dun 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 dun. And I'm like, wow, this is so good. Yeah.
Music, yeah.
Yeah.
Real
Yeah.
music. Um, yeah, I once I watched that, I think I got more into Van Morrison too, who
Oh
apparently
yeah, yeah,
is a insane psycho in real life, but
yeah.
he's got some great music.
Oh, I love Van Morrison. Yeah.
Yeah.
Madam George, man. Yeah, it's just crazy. Martin Scorsese, man, is such an amazing guy. And like just like the catalog of movies, and then on top of it, he's got this, which is like, you could say rivals the greatest concert film ever. Like,
Ah,
I think usually the Stop Making Sense is the best well-regarded one, but like I'm watching this thing and I'm like, this is right there with it. And
yeah.
arguably more epic just because of all the people popping in and There's also just like to me, like Stop Making Sense is a little more of a straight concert film when The Last Waltz has all these cool behind the scenes things and it has
Yeah.
like kind of a thematic, like a running theme the whole time of how the band has lived on the road their whole lives and can't do it anymore because it's just like no way to live at all. But you're kind of seeing that like one, it was unlivable for them, but yet at the same time that they are such a polished respected group that everyone's come to this concert for because they've been grinding at this music shit forever, man. So yeah, that's just kind of why I'm so passionate nowadays about The Last Waltz. Someone just logged that new documentary, Lorne.
Oh, what did they give a review?
Is that David Ehrlich guy who's an IndieWire?
Oh,
He's like
yeah,
the
I think
big
I've
IndieWire review guy. I don't think he didn't like it.
I think I follow him.
That'd be funny if the Lauren Michaels documentary is just not that great.
Someone like him, I feel like is much more like
Critical.
yeah.
I could see
Um
it being basic where like certain people are like he constructs this thing and there's a system to it, you know what I mean? Where you like
mhm.
you have an idea of what people are gonna say.
Yeah.
Uh well, I did finally watch this is a random one of course, but I finally watched Jesus Rolls like over a month ago.
Wow, I forgot that movie existed. Wow.
Yeah,
That
yeah. I
changed my
mean,
opinion of John Turturro, sadly.
I was never gonna not watch that movie. You know, like I always was gonna get to it eventually. Um, yeah, there was like a period where I think it was like I was having a very definitely like a lazy day. Like, do you ever? I don't know. Anyone out there ever start the day off getting Domino's? Usually never. Domino's is never the beginning of the day.
Yeah,
I
wow.
went to Domino's around like 11 a.m. and I was like, man, I got this great deal where I can get the pizza and the side for only whatever. I was so excited that I like hacked my way through the Domino's system of being able to get like a pizza and a side for like whatever, like $11. And I was like, man, this is gonna be a great day. Start to the day. And then like I had like work later. And so of course, like you know, I probably was depressed at work later, you know, because if you start your day off like eating unhealthy,
It's
like
not a
and
good sign. Yeah.
Domino's is fucking trash and processed as fuck, and like, and then I'm watching a movie that equally has no meaning to it, like whatsoever, just like Domino's. Like, there's nothing good for you in watching that movie. I was really in like a fuck it type day,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean, Jesus Rolls is a weirdly well shot like meaningless piece of shit IP movie almost.
Yeah.
And there is no plot to it whatsoever. It's just like hilarious how many people are in it to begin with. And I don't know what motivated John Turturro to make it. And it's like
Yeah.
this weird movie about like it's kind of trying to be a weird like a movie about like freedom and being sexually liberated, I think. But like there's just no they're always like having sex in a cabin and they're always talking about sex. Um
Yeah, the
and
cast is ridiculous. Bobby Cannavale, Audrey Tautou, who's like I feel like a very well-respected French actress, but for some reason she's in this. Pete Davidson, John Hamm, Susan Sarandon. I don't remember any of these people
yeah,
being in the
Audrey
movie.
Tautou is just getting like banged by everybody in this movie. Like
I thought she had like a respectable career.
yeah,
Uh,
and I do remember like from way back when you were telling me about this movie, you were like Susan Sarandon has a threesome with John Turturro and Bobby Cannavale, and like I remember not but being like, wow, that's insane. And then that
I
scene
have to
came
see
up.
that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was really stupid and forgettable and a pointless kind of a pointless movie to watch, but also just kind of one of those funny representations of like, why did this get made? So much money clearly went into this. Why, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know anyone besides me and you who've watched it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And the I doubt the Coens have even seen it too. I feel like they had to give their like blessing or something or some maybe some legal way they had to like give permission for him to like use the character. But I think it says something that they like wanted nothing to do with it. Um, even though it's like a sequel to a movie they made. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it changed my opinion of John Turturro because I always thought he was, well, I mean, I still think he's a great actor and everything, but it changed my opinion of him as a person that that this is like his passion project to make this. Um,
Yeah, it's like, what's your deal, man?
maybe he'd been buddies with Adam Sandler too much where he
Right,
wanted to
right.
do
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like
He
this.
probably honestly, yeah, that's not a bad he learned it from
Yeah.
the Sandler movies.
Because I forget, I know he's been in Mr. Deeds, but I feel like he's been in a few other Sandler movies as like a cameo.
Isn't he
But
like some sort of pervert in Mr. Deeds, like as the butler to Totoro? He's
he has a big foot fetish and he wants to touch everyone's feet. And yeah. He's like, I like to change your socks, sir.
yeah, yeah.
He's like, I know that. I'm good. Like, I don't want you touching my feet. He's like, I like feet. Yeah. That's like his
I just
whole,
remember he's kind of like in the mansion of Mr. Deeds, and he's kind of like looming over Sandler in this weird perverted way.
yeah. Yeah. I'll bring up this real quick. I don't know if you've ever seen The Trip, which is like the Steve Coogan, like British movie called The Trip. I know there's like sequels where it's like The Trip to Italy or The Trip to Greece.
I have never seen
Um,
The Trip. No, I've wanted to, I think.
yeah, I've been like vaguely familiar with it, just that it exists, but really hadn't known that much about it. But it was for I no longer have the Criterion channel, but when I did have it, it was on there like episodically because I guess in the UK it was released
Uh,
as like half-hour episodes. Um,
so the Criterion channel became dire. It wasn't being used.
yes, I felt like
Got
I
back in one
needed
of those.
yeah, I needed to take a break because it wasn't being used enough. But I did use it for this. Uh and this was like the trip is basically Steve Coogan, I think, is playing a version of himself. And then Rob Brydon is like his friend who he brings along as they go on like a culinary tour in England. And the
Oh, that
whole
sounds cool.
yeah, and the whole thing is like it's like the relationship between these two guys and Steve Coogan is like over it. He's depressed and he's got problems in his personal life and he's just super cynical. And then
Mm,
Rob Brydon is a bit more like chipper. And so it's just that dynamic of these two British guys where I feel like that's kind of a classic British thing of like the cynical Brit and then
nice.
one who's like looking at life more positively. And um, so yeah, it's a pretty good like uh I think I watched a lot of it while I was like traveling, so it was like a easy thing to like throw on and watch part of it here and there. But I think over time it gets sort of grating how cynical Steve Coogan is. So I think by the end of it, I just really didn't care for any of the characters, but it is still like a nice. It's like it's still funny. Like there's a lot of funny parts to it, and Rob Brydon does a lot of these like impressions that start to drive Steve Coogan crazy in it, which you can see, but it also adds some like brevity to the show. So yeah, I would recommend watching it, but I am skeptical to like continue on to like the sequels that have been made of it about it, just because it did get
Right.
so tiresome by the end. But um,
So there's two sequels to this.
yeah, I think the trip to Italy and then the trip to Greece are the next two that come after it,
Okay.
which I do want to see eventually. But yeah,
There's this one show, I forget what it was, but there's this scene I always rewatch. It's one of my, I think it's one of the funniest scenes ever, and I think it's from a British show. and it's maybe you could help me out, but it's like this scene where he's like, I think this should be about three guys who started from the bottom, went to the bottom, and then they ended up at the bottom. And then the guy's like, oh, really? People would want to watch a show where about two guys who start at the bottom and then they stay at the bottom and end up at the bottom at the end. I forget what that's from.
That
Oh
that sounds
man.
really familiar.
It's from some show, I think, or movie, like some classic British thing. And it's just one of the funniest scenes ever.
Ugh, that sounds super familiar as a as a bit, but I can't think of it. But
Here,
yeah, I do.
I think I'm looking it up now.
Yeah, I hope you
Flight.
find it.
It's called Flight of the Concords.
Oh, I love that show. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what it's
that's why I've
from.
heard. Yeah, that's New Zealand, which
Not British.
I would say I feel like New Zealand has like a similar sensibility, like their sense of humor is like similar to British, at least as an outsider. Like that New Zealand world of comedy that they kind of have. It's yeah, very funny, which includes Kristen Schaal, who I mentioned on our Beatles of Comedy
Oh yeah, yeah,
episode.
right, right.
But yeah, I still think you should check out The Trip. I think you might like it.
All right, man. I actually really want
Yeah, you
to.
should. Yeah.
Yeah,
And not to, I don't mean to be like a downer on it because I did really like it, but towards the end, it's just, you're just ready for it to be done. You're ready to be away from these characters because, um, how we talked about earlier, like being negative all the time. That is not always great. And it's not always great
right.
to be around someone who's complaining and cynical all the time. So, yeah.
Yeah, I changed restaurant jobs and complain more than
Yeah.
anyone at all of them. Uh, all right, do you want to talk about Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie?
Wow, yes. Yeah, I'm glad you brought
Before
that
it's
up.
like before it's like too late. I mean, it's borderline too late before it's really too late to talk about it, you know?
Yeah.
Directed by Matt Johnson, the genius behind Blackberry.
Yes.
Yes, this was one where I was like, man, this is incredible. I was just in awe the whole time of like how they were able to make this movie in theaters and the state of the industry. I was just like, wow, I can't believe this.
Um I really thought it was like incredible that this was like a movie coming out now that especially with what we talked about recently of like mid-level budget comedy movies not really being made now and kind of Judd Apatow in that interview talking about why and everything. But then this, I feel like, which got like a huge cult following, then this gets like a theater run and it seemed to do like really well. And I don't know if that was just in my corner of the internet where it seemed like I saw so much about it, but I know after seeing Blackberry and getting to know Matt Johnson a little bit, I wanted to dive into this show that I'd heard about that he had done. And so I watched the first season before seeing the movie, and I think that really helped just understand these
I bet
characters
it did,
more.
John. I bet it did, as someone
Yeah.
who didn't.
Yeah. But that's I'm glad you still really liked it without having seen the show too, because then I think that means that like other people would get into it just the same. But the way they intertwined this real life aspects of it and like real people in the world and just like combine that into this narrative movie. I just thought it was like genius and just so seamless too.
Mhm.
That I would love to see like a deep dive, like Criterion special features into everything, um, and on top of that too, the whole time travel aspect of how they realize that they really did go back in time to 2008 and they're watching The Hangover in theaters.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
which I think is like a thing we bring up, like we've brought up before, is like how hangovers rooted in time and
yeah.
so many things are rooted in that time that I feel like they nailed. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just such a like a brilliant way of just like showing and not telling,
Like the
laughing at
audience
that.
like laugh. Well, yeah,
And that's
yeah.
his realization moment. Like that's
And that is what
so
and that is
funny.
real. That is like realistically, that's what happened in
Yeah.
2008. That was like when if you were in a theater then yeah,
Yeah.
that the theater erupted. I mean, not just at the whole film, but like I remember that being one of the first big laughs of The Hangover is like
Yeah.
you're
When you're still getting to know these characters and like then you see okay, Ed Helms is like this
you're like,
punching
oh,
bag of the
the school
yeah.
teacher guy just yelled, "Page you, Dr. Faggot."
Yeah. And all four of those guys had such different there were such different characters. It's like why are they all together as like one group? It was very yeah, it was very
It's just
strange.
like
Yeah, it's
on rewatch for I mean I know we're talking about Nirvana, but like if we're going into The Hangover, like when I rewatch it, it's just so funny how the movie takes uh actors and like talent that I usually like so much, and that I'm actually a fan of all the guys in the movie, except for like the guy who they lose. Like I don't know anything about that guy, but
Doug.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, like Doug, I don't know anything, but like Cooper, I'm a huge fan of. Ed Helms is a really like likable guy in everything else he's in, and Zach Galifianakis is like one of the, most unique, brilliant comedians of that time, and like it just takes
Yeah.
them. And Ed Helms, especially in that movie, I don't like Ed Helms at all in the movie. I think he's like a dick, and it's
Mhm.
just because of the script, it's because of the film he's in. It's just funny. The
Smart
Back to the
too.
Future stuff, how is that in the show as well?
No. The show always has like references to something else. Like each
I see.
intro
Okay.
to the show is like a sort of a parody of Indiana Jones or Ocean's 11 or
Okay, okay.
there's always like some element of like pop culture that they intertwine with the episode.
Because a big thing of like me watching it was since I didn't see the show, my whole viewpoint was kind of like, I don't know really what this is, but yet it's kind of speaking my language so much, and
Yeah.
so I didn't really, I was like in it, but I wasn't. I was like, I didn't, I knew, I like kind of, I got what it was, but I did at the same time.
And I think in interviews, Matt Johnson's like explained it really well, which I think having seen the show, it makes sense. Is like these are two guys that just like never grew up out of their
Yeah,
all their like references are still from that same time when they're like teenagers or college
right,
age. And the whole plot of the show is just like the movie essentially where they're trying to they have their band, Nirvana the band, and they're trying to book a show at the Rivoli in
right.
Toronto, but they also
So
like
like in the movie, it follows up on that, and like we're still obsessed with that dream, like
yeah,
just like the show, so it doesn't change. That goal is still the same.
but they have no act or show or songs or anything to like really perform. Their whole thing is like interest is more of being in a band rather than doing the actual things that bands do, like writing and recording music and going on tour. The idea of
Right,
like being in a
right,
band uh
right. They're obsessed with the idea of being in a band.
and yeah, and doing a show at the Rivoli. So they have all these the whole thing is like Matt is like coming up with all these ideas for the show that they can do, and then Jay is the one that actually has like musical talent, and he's like in the movie, and he's
Ah,
like and there's a lot of like fun little you know songs and just bits they have throughout the show, but yeah, that's essentially the whole thing is like these two guys who have a band, but that it's not really a band, and they're just trying to promote a show and get booked at this venue that, yeah, but they really have no performance or anything. I feel seen in a way by it because my friend Brian, who I mentioned before too, we had formed a band when we were younger with my cousin Garrett too, where we like made some like random songs in GarageBand and stuff, and we would talk about like what we
putting
would
them
do
out
at like a live performance. There's like fog and all this,
like the str. Oh yeah, yeah. The
and then the
stage
lights come up,
direction.
and we yeah,
Nice.
like
Well, how old were you guys?
This is probably like 13, 14 or
So like
something.
right at the beginning of high school.
Yeah, envision like all this like this crazy live performance we would put on, but we really didn't make any music or anything like, but we like formed this band.
But like, what did you guys
And
play?
yeah.
Like, what did you guys play together? Did you play
Well,
practice?
no, we like would make songs on GarageBand with like the stock. Like I
Right.
did, my cousin Garrett did like have a bass and played bass a little bit, and I had a guitar and I was taking like guitar lessons and stuff. But
So you
we
just like played
really,
around in GarageBand, you formed some
yeah,
songs
we would just
and
take things in
right,
GarageBand and make
right.
songs out of them, use whatever the stock sounds and everything they have in GarageBand. We're definitely more interested in the idea of being in a band and all
Yeah.
that rather than
Me
actually
and like
doing.
my friend Antonio have been doing a similar thing for like the past year. Like we made a track, like a house song together, and
Hmm.
it's actually pretty hard. It's actually pretty good, but like we've made this one track and we've gotten so into like we always talk about like the way we would release it, or we even talked about like doing like a video stream of like the like of it like really I don't know just playing it with our friends of us like DJing the song with like people partying around like girls around and stuff like that, and just overly like I don't know, just like getting so into the promotion and the idea of us being like these electronic artists, music artists, when all we've done is make one track. And actually it's like very lucky. We're kind of lucky that it's kind of a funny, like very simple song that actually turned out really good randomly. But like we have nothing else coming out at all, and there's a good chance, I don't know, there's a good chance that's one and done from the looks of it. And it's just, I don't know, we get into the idea of like, how would we show ourselves as like DJs or
Yeah.
like, something like that. Just like
It's
our
kind of,
image, I guess, it's like
yeah,
it's
right.
an, yeah,
It was all just like kind of fantasy in our heads.
right. Like
Um,
you guys weren't chiseling away at the craft of music every day
no.
necessarily. It was like
Um,
messing around, and then like the dream just spawned from like, what if we? Yeah,
yeah. And then it was like the fantasy of it became more interesting than the reality of it. Um,
right.
but yeah, that's what like, yeah, these guys
It's
are,
the same. Yeah, yeah. No, I thought this movie was a triumph and like really inspiring by the end of it, and met all the hype because I didn't really know anything about it before it came out, and I was like, what is that? What is this movie that's just like, everyone's five star in this movie
yeah,
that I don't know about. So that's the
yeah,
main reason I saw it. And yeah, yeah. If you're a film lover or a just addicted to unrealistic dreams, you've ever been like just had experience with, you're like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, like no, 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 now I'm gonna be that, like that type of
yeah,
person, which I definitely am. Like, then this will be for you, and to
like
blow smoke
their
up Matt
dreams.
Johnson, like in this movie, he's playing this like, very like kind of almost self-defeating dreamer guy with nothing but plans, and I'm sure that like it comes from personal experience, but it like actually in real life he's kind of blossomed into this really good director, and who's doing kind of exactly what he wants to do.
Yeah.
And so yeah.
Yeah, I feel like he's doing his own thing and it's starting to resonate with like a bigger audience. Which did you know too? He's doing the I think it's coming out this year, but the Anthony Bourdain biopic.
Oh,
He's
he's doing
directing.
that.
Yeah.
Well, that like that changes things for me. Who's playing Bourdain again?
The kid from the Holdovers. Um,
Yeah, that kid's great.
right? Yeah.
That
Like
man, dude, getting psyched about that now. That comes
the
out this
idea
year.
of I think so. I think so. At least I saw some interview where he was on Stavros's podcast because Stavros is in the movie too, I guess. So it sounded like they were done filming. Um,
Stavros is like Stavros is like Tony around these parts.
yeah, I
Stavros like
wonder what
here
his
up
role
here.
is.
Like we're he's like this is the best Euro Tony we can get on this part of the Bronx.
Yeah, you should watch that episode of Stavi's podcast with Matt Johnson. It's really good.
All right, yeah, yeah. I watched the one with Josh Safdie, so I'll
Oh,
like
nice.
follow up on it with
Yeah.
the director series on Stavi's World. Yeah.
I think yeah, the idea of like a Hollywood Anthony Bourdain biopic thing is like yeah, I think I was skeptical at first, but then
But since it's like these guys, yeah.
now I'm in. Yeah, I'm fully like interested and really excited to see it.
I'm like, that's so interesting to picture. Like, what's the first scene? Like, he's gonna be like doing like heroin or something like that, or like he's on a beach in Maine and like, hey, Tony, stop running around. You could be a dishwasher in here. And then just shows him washing dishes. I'm like just picturing
How it
how it's gonna
starts.
turn out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be
I mean,
interesting.
there's so much material if you're like a writer director to work with. He's had one of the most interesting lives of anybody. So
Yeah.
it's yours to fuck up, I think.
Yeah.
Matt Johnson.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up this movie though, because I had forgotten about it. Because now it seems so long ago. But I also say saw it in like a packed theater and everyone was laughing and having a good time,
Everyone was hooting and hollering.
hooting and hollering, kicking the back of the seats. Yeah, it was fun. And I'm like genuinely really excited to see it again. Um, because it just seems like a rewatchable, endlessly rewatchable movie.
Mhm. So I watched a film last week that it's kind of a silly movie, but I really enjoyed it because it's just up my alley. It came out earlier this year. It's also 2026. It's called Crime 101. You've probably seen the ads if you've been watching
Hmm.
any NBA lately. It's all over the NBA ads on Prime. Uh, but
Sounds
it's the
familiar.
this is a crime an LA crime
Mm.
thriller with Chris Hemsworth, Mark Ruffalo, Halle Berry, Barry Keegan, Kogan, however you say it, and Monica Barbero, who we know mainly from Dylan and also Top Gun Maverick. And shout her off right off the back just because she's actually everything I ever see this her in I like she just kind of works very well in everything she's in. Um,
Yeah, she was so
but
good as Joan Baez in that movie.
Yeah, mainly
Yeah.
like that one primarily, but then like in Top Gun Maverick, she's like the one chick in like the
Hmm.
whole like team, and she does it very well. And then
Hmm.
that's a very different role to be in than Joan Baez, and this as well.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, Crime 101 for those who are if you haven't seen it, if you are into Michael Mann movies, this is like if some film school kid uh just like was like, yeah, I want to make a Michael Mann movie. I have a great idea for that. I just want to do that. I just want to like do that structure like Michael Mann. I want it to feel like Michael Mann movie and stuff like that. That's what this is. This is such
Hmm.
a Michael Mann ripoff movie. Nevertheless, I and it has a lot of just I don't know script things and storytelling things that you could definitely make fun of. Um, for instance, I don't know, like Mark Ruffalo's always like he's always taking the 101. Every time he pulls his job, driving off. Mark Ruffalo plays like the detective who's going after Crims Hemsworth, he's like the lone criminal who doesn't know how to act like a human being because he's always just been a very disciplined professional criminal, just just like Robert De Niro in Heat or something like that. And Ruffalo's always like, he's always taking the 101 to get out of here, and Ruffalo's always tracking him. Um, like Halle Berry's like this girl. She's playing someone who's like she's like working at like a financial like company. I don't know, like I can't tell from the like a financial or like real estate company. And she's like, I've been trying to be a partner for years, and now these men are stepping me over. Like that, like I was supposed to have stock options and stuff, and it's like supposed to represent how the system never has your back or something
Hmm.
like that. Um, but yeah, this movie's really silly in a lot of ways, but it just has so much things that I like personally, such as like high, fast pace chase scenes or you know, crimes being done in LA and like it has Chris Hemsworth plays like the lonely male the lonely male character who doesn't know how to like talk to a woman. So he goes like on a date with Monica Barbero and like she's like, you have no like man, you like she's like asking him like normal questions, right? He's like doesn't have anything to say. He has no like personality, and she's like, you have no pictures of yourself in your home or anything, and he's like, yeah, we weren't that kind of family or something like that. He's so obviously just like a criminal. um, and, I don't know what else to say about it than that. Just that like I really like I was like in a very like straight male way. I was like, man, I'm so into this shit right now. Like, but kind of aware that it's a little stupid. Yeah, and unoriginal. It's like
Hmm.
it's stupid and unoriginal, but like just the fact that it's kind of I don't know, trying to be something that I like,
Yeah.
and that the actors in it are very entertaining was kind of cool. It's kind of a random ass thing to exist in this day and age, and it's like you got like two guys of the Avengers cast like in this crime thriller movie, and like I don't know, but I think it's cool. It's better than like Robert Downey Jr., who doesn't make from the Marvel universe, who doesn't like make anything. Uh, he doesn't make anything that's not a Marvel movie. He's like gonna keep doing Marvel movies. Um,
All he did was that like very minor role in Oppenheimer,
right. Which like it doesn't
which
matter because
might have won an
everyone was in
Oscar for that too.
Oppenheimer,
Yeah.
and also like he made that doc about his dad, which is fantastic actually. But
Hmm.
he's like got this frustrating thing where he like refuses to do like he just does more Marvel movies, you know what I mean? Like that's all he's ever done with his career. And I think he's a very talented guy, but it's just like why do you continue to feed the machine? Now you're gonna play the villain in this. It's
Yeah, like
like, dude,
he died and now he's back as
you're just
a new
addicted to money,
character.
man. Like, come
Yeah.
on. Um, I actually did something interesting last week that I could talk about, which is I going off of this is I actually rewatched Iron Man, Iron Man 1 and 2, which is like a
Oh,
sign that
one
I
and
didn't,
two.
yeah, which is a sign I didn't give a fuck, man. Like that I'm watching that because I don't know, I kind of wanted to just like revisit it, and uh, it's just kind of funny to me because the movie Iron Man to me is like always I think pretty well regarded. Like people are always like Iron Man's a good movie, and like or considered like it's like considered like it's the origin of all this stuff that
Yeah.
we now don't like. Um, and and then the movie begins and it's just like I'm like I kind of had high expectations because I'm thinking I'm like I mean it started all this shit, and like
Changed everything.
yeah, and Iron Man is kind of, like very I think pretty well regarded. If it's ever brought up, they're like, "Oh yeah, Iron Man's a great movie." Like I just feel like in everyday talk. And so like the movie starts and like AC/DC is immediately playing. It's like da 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 da, and it shows like all these war trucks driving down in like the Middle East and like fucking like Robert Downey Jr. is like drinking like a scotch or something in one of these war trucks, and and all these guys and the first line of this movie, the first line is like these guys like going like, "Sir, is it true you banged all these swimsuit models of the swing edition or something like that?" And Robert Downey Jr. is just like he takes off his sunglasses and he's like, "That is an excellent question." And I'm just like, this is so dumb, dude. Like, so stupid, man. And this is the first scene of like the main character, the most important character of like this whole like expansive, blown out of proportion, cinematic world that has kind of contributed to a lot of bad things in the industry.
Yeah.
And this film is like for instance so much more grounded and I don't know I don't know the movie has like gets a little better after that, but I just remember thinking I just was like that this opening scene is just so stupid for the again this is like the first MCU scene technically ever. um
Where the hangover is like set in its time. I feel like the Tony Stark snarky attitude is like very much
right,
of
yeah,
the Marvel Cinematic Universe timeline of history.
for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, I mean, and overall, I mean, like he is very good in the original Iron Man, but I just kind of was like, and I enjoyed it at times, but I was also watching and I'm like, man, without Robert Downey Jr., this movie's like really not much at
Hmm.
the end of the day. Like he really carries this whole movie. Um,
I don't remember the last Marvel movie that I watched. It has
it
been a
didn't
long
it
time.
there was a part of me that like felt motivated during it be like let's like keep going with this Marvel shit because like they plant the it's like watching a series, you know what I mean? It's like watching
Hmm.
Game of Thrones because Game of Thrones will like be like, "Oh, eventually some crazy shit's gonna go down," you know what I mean? And then Marvel does the same thing where it's like the first film and he's like not even out as a superhero yet, and then they're bringing in guys from like the Shield universe to be like, "Hey, we're Shield, we're gathering this new team together and stuff," and you're like, and it's like so it's such bait to keep watching and stuff, kind of like a Game of Thrones. And like Sam Jackson shows up in the second film. He's like, "Hey!" He's like, "Get out of the donut!" And I'm like laughing because it's so funny that Sam Jackson's just in these at all. But the thought of even though I was enticed to keep watching more Marvel after that, I was like, dude, the thought of turning on like Captain America or just another one of these like kind of made the thought
Thor.
kind of yeah, just the thought kind of made me sick because they're all the same. And so like why put my brain through the same story again, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, that's where I still am with those movies is like originally like I never really got fully into them, but I was like, yeah, they're fun movies, whatever. But yeah, I just can't get I can't consistently get through them because they all feel like a slog now because they are just so similar and it's all like you said too, it's always like leading up to
Yeah,
the
it's
next thing. It's they end on a
like
cliffhanger.
like
The
each one is like each movie's like the same story, but yet they're also always building to another of the same story, and it's kind of like really sickening that that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like, really don't like it. Uh,
And it just seems
uh,
like the stakes are always so low too that um, you know, they all die, but then they can come back in any way. Or it's just, yeah, I don't know. To me, it just seems just too obviously like formulaic for a wide audience that it's distracting when you're watching. That to like actually
sure.
just immerse yourself into this world. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Here's something else I'd like to rant about before we wrap, but like since we're on the topic, it's like going down
Yeah.
another this is going down another like cynical rabbit hole, but like I cannot like this thing triggers me maybe as much as anything. I don't know how much you've been on HBO Max recently, like
Not a
in terms of
ton.
watching. Okay, because like I was watching The Chair Company a little bit last night, and so it's like every single ad for the chair company, like at the beginning of the chair company episode, is an ad for that new Harry Potter show that HBO is
Oh,
doing. And
yeah.
I just hate that that is
Yeah.
happening, man, because like there's no reason to justify making that other than money. Like there's no
I
reason.
know.
Like and not only are they like remaking something that was arguably near perfectly done, but they're like it's very like the way the original movies were done specifically was like they kept the same cast together and like specifically the kids the kids who grew up and gave their childhood to make those movies and
Yeah.
now I don't know if you ever watched like the documentary of like that they made at the end of that series, but like there's like a
Mm-mm.
documentary where it shows the final scene of shooting Harry Potter, and uh it shows the kids kind of like all break like because they're wrapped right for the series, like they're wrapped. Harry, Ron, and Hermione are all wrapped, and so the kids break down in emotions, like just lose. They lose it. They lose it in emotions
Yeah.
because they just gave their. It's like say like if we when we graduated high school or some shit, like we just finished the Harry Potter series or something. Like they just gave their whole like
Yeah.
adolescence to that, which is way harder than what we had to do, obviously, and like crew required immense discipline, and you know what I mean, and like,
Yeah.
and it's just like crazy. It's just like so disrespectful to me. Like I'm like that's just how I see it. I don't know if everyone would see that, but to me, it's disrespectful to that part of the original that you're. It's not even been like it's been maybe a little over a decade, and you're already going to remake it as a series with whole all new actors just to like for what just to use the property because you own the property now and and plus because a show is like what people are going to watch more now. People don't go to the movies, people like
Yeah.
shows, so like oh man what and man there's so much. I bet the book fans had so much in those books that they didn't get in the movies because the movies are shorter, so now we'll just turn the first book into a whole series and it's just gonna be this long ass overdrawn series that is unnecessary and I just like I just think it's like I just think it's disgusting that they're doing that. I really do. Like it makes me really hate the industry overall that they're doing something like that. Like
What they do is just drain the as much as you can get out of like a property like Harry
yeah,
Potter or Star Wars,
yeah.
Lord of the Rings, whatever. Like now, because Game of Thrones was big, so
Game of
now,
Thrones has like tons of shows like
yeah.
spawning from it and
And like Amazon bought the rights to like Lord of the Rings to make their own Lord of
yeah.
the Rings show. mainly because of the popularity of Game of Thrones, as if it's
Yeah, so
just
they could
like,
have their own.
yeah, it's just they think
Yeah,
any fantasy show is what people want. And it's like really people want good stuff and they'll like flock to that. If so, like Game of Thrones could have just been like a niche thing, but it got super popular because it was good and it
yeah,
had started to gain a big audience. And it's like Harry Potter, the movies came out like when it was like the perfect time for those movies to come out. And yeah, it's like you can't recreate that or try and yeah, I don't know. It's like um going back home and with your family and your parents or someone, your uncle or whatever, trying to create the same sort of memories that you had like growing up as a family. Like you
sure. That's a
can't
good.
use
That's a good. I like that example. It's like,
yeah,
hey,
it's like
remember that time we ate roasted pork on Christmas? I'm gonna try to make that same roasted pork.
yeah,
And
and then that funny thing happened to grandma and we all laughed about
yeah,
it and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like so
yeah.
let's
Here, try that joke again.
yeah, yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, remember this same thing? Yeah, it's like nothing like that
Well,
stuff was
I feel like
memorable and enjoyable
that's a
because it
good
was
example of
organic.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's like that's like what families end up becoming too. At least like family, you're just like talking about all the times you've
Yeah.
had. Like once you get to a
Remember
certain
when?
age.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Insane.
And they promote the hell out of it too. And like every ad you see, there's like the moment on the train where Ron, like the new Ron, says to the new Harry, like, "Oh my God, you're Harry Potter." And it's just like this derivative version of the original, which
Yeah.
like obviously is way better. Like the original
Yeah.
moment, like not like I'm gonna like compare every moment, but like the original moment where Rupert Grint like loses his shit over him being Harry Potter is just it's just way better.
Yeah.
And there's yeah, I don't know. I think too many people will not think about it. Like they're not gonna be thinking about it like this. People are like, oh, it's Harry Potter.
Yeah.
They're not thinking about it like this. That like
Right.
people
Yeah.
but that's also the problem is like a lot of people won't see why this is wrong when there is a huge argument that can be made on why it's super wrong and why it's commerce, but people don't view it that way. So they're just like, oh, it's something I know. So, here we
Yeah.
go.
Oh, it's
Like that. It's
familiar. Yeah.
simple as
It's
that. Suddenly they're watching all of it and they're going to have stupid opinions. Like, I really like how they showed this part of Philosopher's Stone in episode 5. There was that part in the book I liked that I read, and then the original didn't have it. And like,
yeah.
it's
That's
just
like yeah. The cool
dumb as
things about
fuck.
it are just like, oh, they included this from the book that was not in the
Yeah.
movie, and that's
Yeah. That's it. That's
yeah.
it.
Okay,
That's
well, that
literally
doesn't
it.
mean that it's like, you know, that doesn't mean that it's worth
That
spending millions and
right.
millions of dollars to make this.
No.
Think of
Because
where
at
that
the end
money
of the
could have gone.
day,
Yeah.
you're gonna be they probably took the most important beats from the book into the movies, and you're just waiting for those beats again. Like the rest is kind of just like Hogwarts indulgence is what people are gonna be waiting for. Like that's it. It's like you man, there's that one Quidditch match that they talked about in the book, but they did talk about in the movie. Now we get that. It's like, all right, yeah, but it's
But you
just
already know it happened because you read the book,
yeah,
whatever. Like, why do
it's
you
just
yeah, that's
nerdum, and there's another thing I don't like that like they're just like something from my childhood that they're fucking people are fucking up is like it's like Amazon Prime now does the NBA and now they have this thing on the game where it's called like a mismatch like icon because I was watching the game the other day, and so basically, if there's a mismatch in the game, they put a circle like icon to say that this player has a mismatch. So like if like
during the game?
LeBron, yeah, so it's like say like
Oh,
Victor Wembanyama every time he's gonna be on the court, probably will get that circle right. I'm like, I just don't like that. Like, don't fucking do that. Don't turn this into like a video game.
yeah.
It's like that. Like doing that, you're like making it look like a video game. But yeah, like I was watching the game and like one of their like token attractive sideline reporters for Prime was like doing her little, bit in between the quarters. And she's like, "You might be wondering what this blue circle is surrounding me right now. Well, that's our mismatch at Prime. That's our mismatch icon." And I was just like, "What?" And then they it started doing it during the actual game. It wasn't even just for replays. Like it wasn't even just like,
Wow.
for replays. It's like they're doing it during the actual game. And I was just like, I don't like that. I don't like that one bit.
Yeah, I hadn't been keeping up with NBA the past few months. And I don't think I'd seen any of like the Prime coverage, so I missed that. But the idea of that sounds awful. Because what I have been watching is baseball, and now when you watch baseball, they always have the strike zone box on the screen while you're
Hmm.
watching. And I've never enjoyed that. Like it because now like my eyes are just immediately drawn to this digital box that they put on the screen instead
Right,
of just
rather than
like,
trying to read the strike zone for yourself.
yeah. And
Right.
I
It
don't
kind of
like now
it
you
kind of
can
takes
like,
away using your brain when
yeah.
you're watching sports, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and it makes it seem like you said like a video game or something where there's like all these overlaid graphics and stuff. But
Yeah, yeah. Get out of here with that shit,
no.
dude. Come. Jesus Christ, it's such a stupid idea.
Because that,
Um,
yeah, now I'm not even, I feel like I'm not even really watching like the pitch or anything. I'm just like watching for where the circle
right,
goes when
right.
it
It's
shows
like
up.
it's like say you're playing when you used to play NBA Live or whatever, you're just trying to get the green release. You're just trying
Yeah,
to time the green every time. That's it.
if they
It's the
showed
same.
that during the game,
Right. Yeah. They're
God,
like
yeah.
Steph had an imperfect release like the other night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they had, yeah, they labeled all the releases. It's just like too much. There's already enough going on the screen.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Like just yeah.
well, we were too positive in the beginning. We had to bring it back down.
Right, right. Well, just yeah, there's a lot of things we do like, so, such as Nirvana, the band, the show,
Oh
the
yeah.
movie, and the Last Waltz, and then there's and we kind of like Project Hail Mary, but then there's a lot of things still. Remember, there's a lot of things we don't like too.
Yeah. Yeah, never forget the stuff that you don't like too. Uh,
Yeah, never forget to say what you don't like.
yeah.